I'm really delighted to see you all here with us. As you all know, I'm sure, this event is part of Freelance Futures, a summer programme of learning and action for equitable conditions in culture, which is being delivered in partnership with the Freelance Futures Consortia. My name is Becca Pellifry, and I've been asked to produce this series of wellbeing events this week as part of the online gathering on behalf of People Make It Work, one of the consortium. Just to give a little visual description of myself, I am a white woman in my early 40s. I have dark hair with a nice white badger stripe through the middle, this evening up in a bun, and I'm wearing a white t-shirt. Just to say, a few people have done so already, but feel free to sign your name in the chat and any information about yourself so we know who you are. And please make sure you're on mute unless you're contributing verbally, and Anusha will talk about that in a bit. This is the third in a series of 7 wellbeing sessions this week, each one taking inspiration from one of the 5 natural elements, which are water, ether, air, fire, and earth. Today's session is inspired by ether, the most expansive of them all, potentially. Just before we get going and before I hand over to Anusha, just need to outline some access and other bits of information. So first of all, as you will have heard, this session is being recorded and will be permanently available to view via our dedicated YouTube channel or via the website or the community platform. Today we have My Clear Text, Andrew from My Clear Text, providing live captioning. To access this, please press the CC closed captions button at the bottom. And it's possible to access either as a full transcript or on screen as captions. In terms of your video and sound, please keep yourself on mute unless you're speaking. But this is a relaxed environment meant to support your well-being, so please contribute towards this however is best for you. If possible, please keep your video on just while we welcome Anusha and say hello, and then she'll hand over with some other instructions. One final thing from me before I hand over to the lovely Anusha is that it would be handy for you to have a pen and some paper of any kind handy. So if you want to take a minute now to go and get some, please do. So without further ado, that's enough from me, and I will hand over to the lovely Anusha.
Thank you so much, Becca. I am particularly excited to be here with you all today because I'm from London, but I have lived in America for the past 12 years now. So it's always a joy for me to be with people from the UK whenever I have the opportunity, and of course to collaborate with my dear friend Becca. So welcome everybody. As Becca mentioned, we would love you to have a paper and a pen if you don't. And I would also love to find out where you're all from so we can really focus on building that sense of community. So if you would like to introduce yourself into the chat box and to include your preferred pronouns and also your location. So I am Anusha Wijeyakumar, preferred pronouns she, her, hers. And I am dialing in today from sunny Southern California, San Clemente, Orange County. So welcome, and we're going to try to keep this as interactive as possible. It's certainly not going to be me just talking at you for the next hour. We will be focused on meditation with intention and the element of ether, as Becca mentioned, and I'll be reading an excerpt from my book, Meditation with Intention, and we'll be doing a few practices from the book. So a very quick introduction on myself. And I just realized I forgot to do my introduction on how I look. So I am a highly melanated South Asian woman, black hair tied back in a bun, and I'm wearing a green shirt, lime green with black lips. So sorry, I forgot to do that at the beginning. So a quick introduction. I am an author. I'm a speaker around the world on the science of meditation and mindfulness. I'm the wellness consultant at Hoag Hospital, which is one of the top 10 hospitals in California, top 100 in the United States of America, where I lead on integrative medicine, specifically meditation and mindfulness for our breast and ovarian cancer prevention programs, our maternal mental health program, and I also work alongside a world-renowned neurosurgeon who actually did endorse meditation with intention at our Neurosciences Institute as well. I'm one of the first people to create a meditation program that we're using in clinical research to examine perioperative pain management for breast cancer patients. And I am delighted to be sharing this with you all today. So the goal of today, if we have a goal, is really to inspire you all to begin a daily meditation practice if you don't already have one. And I'm all about 5 minutes, and we'll talk about that. Because the whole premise of the book is we've got 5 minutes. We spend 5 minutes doing nonsense, as I say to my patients all the time. So we do have 5 minutes to dedicate and commit to a meditation and mindfulness practice. I'm also an adjunct professor at San Diego State University, where I teach about collective liberation and the intersection of yoga, wellness, and social justice. So again, delighted to be here with you all today. And I'm kind of going to get straight into our first practice, and I want to be honoring and mindful of everybody's time. But before I do, I want to debunk a few common myths around meditation and mindfulness. So most of us don't have 60 minutes. We don't even have 15 minutes. So the work that I do in clinical research and science and the work that I do with my patients is all about thinking about this concept of 5 minutes. Because we've all got 5 minutes. We spend 5 minutes doing nonsense, whether it's scrolling on social media, whether it's looking at animal memes. And I must admit, I've seen plenty of them over the past 2 years. As cute as the cats and the squirrels and the dogs and the raccoons are, we spend more than 5 minutes doing that. So what I say to my patients at the hospital is, spend 5 minutes doing whatever it is that you like, do the nonsense. But don't delude yourself into thinking that you don't have 5 minutes to dedicate to a meditation practice. And the first practice that we'll be doing today is one of my favorites, and certainly one that you can adapt to your needs in your daily life. And we'll have time for questions and comments and sharing after the practice. So what is the difference between meditation and mindfulness? This is probably one of the most common questions I am asked. So traditionally, meditation is when we're coming to sit in a place of stillness and we're not doing anything outside of ourselves, which is what we'll be doing shortly. Mindfulness can be a practice that we are doing with anything that we're doing, be it when we're running, cooking, gardening, biking, spending time with our family and friends. Really, mindfulness is the ability to be present. And so what that really simply means is we're not thinking about the past, and we're not thinking or worrying about the future. And there's plenty of research that has been done on this, and most of us oscillate between those two places. So we're either thinking about the past or we're projecting, often negatively, into the future. Mindfulness is the practice where we're utilizing our breath as a tool to bring our mind and body together as one so we can be present. One of my favorite authors on mindfulness, and perhaps Becca or Naisha, you can type this into the chat box, Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Vietnamese Buddhist Zen master. He's a monastic. I've been very fortunate to study at his monastery in Deer Park in the neighboring county to where I live. And he says, when we take an inhale and we take an exhale, we are enabled to bring the body and mind together as one. And so that's the beauty of the practice. So mindfulness, we can do it anywhere, anytime. Meditation is kind of when we're really focusing on drowning out the distractions and coming to that place of stillness and of silence so we can really focus on going on that journey inward. So without further ado, let us get situated for our first practice. So further myths we can debunk, you don't have to be sitting in Padmasana, lotus pose, or sitting in any uncomfortable position. What I encourage everybody to do, especially for those of us that are in the West, we often don't sit on the floor, just to sit in a comfortable chair, ideally one that even has some support like I have, and that can just help you feel a sense of ease in your practice without sitting on the floor and thinking, my ankle's hurting, my knee's gone to sleep, and then not being able to get up at the end of your practice. So just find a comfortable seat. Obviously, if it feels comfortable to you to sit on the floor, basically do whatever feels best to you. You can even do this practice lying down. What I would recommend though is we will be doing pranayama breath work, that you remove any pillows from underneath the cervical spine so the spine can simply be in a neutral position. If there is one rule in a pranayama breath work practice, it's simply that the spine should be neutral. So I'll just be guiding us all to get into a comfortable seat. So uncross the legs, just grounding into the floor beneath you. If you're sitting in a chair, perhaps that's through your feet, soles of the feet. Your palms can either be facing upwards or downwards, again, just whatever feels best to you and what feels most comfortable to you. Having the palms pressing downwards can help to feel a sense of groundedness in our practice. Palms facing upwards can perhaps help us connect to ether and that focus on universal consciousness, which is a vital aspect of why we meditate. So wherever you are, just come to that place of ease. And you don't have to close your eyes. That often doesn't feel comfortable to people. So you can remain with the eyes open or closed. Again, whatever feels best to you. If you are remaining with the eyes open, I suggest that you stare at a focal point on the ground beneath you, just beginning to withdraw one of our main senses of sight. 90% of what we intake actually comes through sight, our eyes, and that's what actually activates the brain. I talk a lot about the neuroscience of meditation and mindfulness in my book. And again, of course, if anyone has questions, we'll have time. So just come to a comfortable seat wherever you are, and just take a moment to gently relax the shoulders down away from the ears, relaxing and releasing the muscles in the face, any tension in the neck, the jaw area, releasing the point between the eyebrows, releasing the tongue from the hard palate of the roof of the mouth. And just taking a moment to arrive into this moment, into the physical body. Allowing the mind and body to come into that place of stillness and of quiet within. Letting go of your daily worries, your cares, your concerns. You have none of those things in this moment. All that you have is your breath. And we're not trying to breathe in any particular way right now. You are simply breathing as it comes. There are no need for judgments or opinions here. If you have any of those, just allow them to gently drift away like clouds in the sky as you return to your body and your breath, your body and your breath, your body and your breath. And I want you all in this moment to relax, because there is no doing this practice wrong. If there are any external sounds, just let them be. And start to notice the shape, the weight of your breath in your body, the gentle rising and the falling. And just notice how your breath feels in this moment. Is it long or is it shallow? Again, you're not trying to breathe in any particular way right now. You are simply breathing as it comes. If thoughts are coming into the mind, that is completely fine and normal. But just allow any thought forms that may be arising to gently drift away like clouds in the sky as you return to your body and your breath. your body and your breath, your body and your breath. Again, if thought forms are arising, just picture any thoughts drifting away like clouds in the sky. And you will soon be inhaling for my count and exhaling for my count. So exhale all of the air out of the lungs. And then begin the inhalation through the nose with the mouth closed for the count of 1, 2, 3. Exhale through the nose with the mouth closed for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue that breath work pattern for 6 more rounds at your own pace to your own count. If that cadence is too much, you can inhale for 2 and exhale for 4, or inhale for 1 and exhale for 3. Just pick whatever cadence works best for you. Again, there's no right or wrong. You're just going to what suits you best in your body in this moment. And as you inhale, I want you to silently repeat to yourself, I am at peace. And as you exhale, I want you to silently repeat to yourself, all is well in my world. I am at peace on the inhale. All is well in my world on the exhale. I am at peace on the inhale. All is well in my world on the exhale. And as you inhale, I want you to allow yourself to feel a sense of peace washing over you in this moment. And as you exhale, I want you to feel that all is well in your world in this moment, regardless of your external situation or circumstance. You are at peace on the inhale. All is well in your world on the exhale. And once you've completed your 6 rounds of that breath work pattern at whatever cadence worked best for you, you can release, returning to your normal rhythm and pattern of breathing. There's no hurry or rush to arrive. Just repeating again wherever you are, I am at peace on the inhale. All is well in my world on the exhale. And once you've completed your 6 rounds of that breathwork pattern, release as we take a moment of silence to absorb our practice. Slowly start to bring your consciousness and your awareness back to the physical body. Gently inviting some movement back into the body. Perhaps wiggling the toes, the fingers. Gently shaking the head from right to left, left to right, up and down. And then just slowly starting to feel the weight of your body wherever you were situated, in a chair, on the floor, lying down, feeling the weight of your arms, the weight of your head on your neck, as you slowly and gently blink the eyes open if they were closed, returning to your physical surroundings. And now I would like you all to get your paper and pen if you're joining us on this journaling practice. And I'll be timing it, so we're going to have 5 minutes to spend in a journaling practice. And some journaling prompts for you perhaps are how you're feeling now versus how you were feeling at the beginning of your practice, how the practice was for you. Were there any thought forms that were arising? Again, there really is no right or wrong. This journaling is just for your own container. We, of course, will have time for questions and sharing after this practice, but really this is just an opportunity for you to journal how the practice was. So we're going to take 5 minutes to do that, beginning now. So just another few minutes to wrap up your final thoughts before we open for questions and sharing. Okay, last moment now. And as you're wrapping up your final thoughts for those who may be ready, I would love to now invite us to share. So there are two ways within which you can do this. You can type your question or comment in the chat box and myself or Naisha can read that out, or you can unmute yourself and we'd love to hear from anybody directly that has any questions. So I will now open up for questions. If you'd like to share something, please feel free to do so. You can raise your hand and we can unmute you if you have a question, or you can just go ahead and unmute. Hi, Katya.
Hello, I just wanted to say that I enjoyed the kind of direction, because it sort of pushed through the resistance to letting go. And, and 5 minutes really does make a difference. And, yeah. And I've previously struggled with the intention setting. And I just felt a relief in that, staying with that positive intention you gave.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Yeah. And what I always say, especially because I do work with patients that have breast cancer, or they what we call previvors, so they have a genetic mutation that has a high percentage that they'll develop breast or ovarian cancer. And for a lot of people, it's difficult. And so it's, when we think about the intention of I am at peace and all is well in my world, well, how can I be at peace if I have suddenly received this cancer diagnosis, or I'm about to undergo chemotherapy or radiation or have surgery or whatever it is? And the intention for me, like I said, is can we find peace in each moment? Because if we're able to do that, it makes it easier. And like I said, or like I shared, are we able to do that right now in this moment, irrespective of what's happening externally, and even irrespective of what's happening internally? Because that's the beauty of the practice. And, what I love so much, these are practices that are part of my indigenous ancestral wisdom that are thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, originating in South Asia, the Indian subcontinent. But what is amazing to me about my work in science is now we're just able to correlate what the ancient sages knew thousands of years ago and, offer these tools to people in a clinical and Western medicine setting. And I think so often people don't meditate because, and I can say this, I live in California, it's the home of everything, it seems, but meditation, and it frightens people. And I think the more that we can break it down, make it inclusive, make it diverse, make it accessible, the more that people will want to do the practice. So thank you so much for sharing that. Nami, I see a hand, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Is there a specific time you need to do these meditations, or can you do them anytime during the day?
Great question. Yes, and I give a lot of guidance in my book around this. Sorry, did you have another question, or should you want me to answer that one?
No, the other thing was I have missed your other 2 sessions that you've done. So is there a chance you could share that recording with me?
So, yeah. Do you mean as part of the Freelance Futures program this week, Nami?
Yes.
Yeah, so Nyasha is on this call. Nyasha, I will pass that over to you if you could communicate with Nami about how she can get access to the recordings. That would be great.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries, we'll drop that in the chat.
Thank you, Becca and Naisha. So to answer the first question, for me, I would just say find any time in your day. But ideally, what I recommend is first thing in the morning, and ideally within the first 30 minutes of rising, certainly before you've had any caffeinated beverages, because that's kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do in a meditation practice. So I work with many patients that desperate for their coffee, caffeine in the morning. So what I say is, you can get up, brew the coffee, tea, whatever it is, have that ready. It's only 5 minutes. When you finished your practice, you can go and enjoy that beverage. So ideally, first thing in the morning, within the first hour, 30 minutes of waking. And the reason for that is because it really does set you up for your day ahead. And the program that I created for Hoag Hospital was a 5-minute practice, very similar to the one that I just led you all through in the morning, because actually there's a science of the breath. And the reason why it's important to do it in the morning is, very simply, when we take an inhale and we take an exhalation, we're activating the parasympathetic nervous system response in the body, which is the aspect of our central nervous system that moves us away from that constant state of fight or flight that we've all been in for the past few years, and into that state of rest and digest. And so if we're able to begin our day from that place, it's not rainbows and unicorns. All of your problems aren't going to, magically disappear because you've done your 5-minute practice. What it really means is that you're just better able to deal with whatever is happening in your day externally, and also deal with your own thoughts internally. And then I would highly recommend a 5-minute evening practice, which is kind of focused on what we call in yoga philosophy, yoga nidra, which is yogic sleep, deep sleep, that can really set you up to go into a place of restorative sleep. I mean, in America, sleep hygiene is huge. I'm sure it's probably quite similar in the UK. In America, between 50 to 70 million Americans suffer from sleep issues. And so it's actually a national public health crisis for us here. And for those, there may be some of you on the call that struggle with sleep. I would absolutely think about doing a 5-minute practice before bed, and I can answer any questions that come around that. And I'm blessed to speak with many physicians with panels that we do at Hoag, and I've heard from so many sleep specialists. A couple of other tips that I want to leave you with is dim the lights, stay off your electronics. And if you are on your phone, to get those blue light blockers, which apparently now come in the form of like reading glasses that you can order online. But ultimately, really, 30 minutes before bed, you're coming off electronics, you're coming off your email, you're coming off social media, you're not watching the news late at night. I found myself falling into that cycle in 2020 here with our general election. Terrifying year. I was watching the news late at night and then wondering why I wasn't able to sleep well. So if you do want to keep up to date with the news, to do that intake earlier in the day. So those are a couple of tips. Again, happy to answer some questions. And I'm just going to share now from some of the comments that we have in our chat. So from Amy Evans, I have had a niggly day today, and although the practice is such a simple one, I really should remind myself that the process is quick and effective and should have that much earlier today. Yeah, exactly. It's short, it's simple, it works. If that was the strap line, that's it. And that's it. But quite frankly, it's not going to work if you're just doing it today. That's the honest truth. You have to do it regularly. By regularly, at least more than 3 times a week, ideally daily. From Natalie Bowers, hello, I found the mantras really helped me to focus and let go. Before the meditation, I felt that I didn't have 2 seconds to spare for anything non-work related. And after the meditation, I now feel better equipped to recognize and regulate my worries in a more calm and subjective way. My shoulders have unhunched quite a lot too. Thank you so much, Natalie. And let's be honest, most of us are like this, and we're like this because we're looking down at our phone. So even just that cue of that mindful check-in that you can do at your desk every hour, take a check-in, take an inhale, take that lengthened exhalation, activating that parasympathetic nervous system response. Relax the shoulders down away from the head, the ears. Do a little bit of neck movement, like we said, moving the head from right to left, left to right, up and down. That can take 60 seconds. So that can be a very simplistic 60-second mindfulness of breath check-in. Okay, did I miss any questions? Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share? We'd love to hear from you. That also gets everybody else an opportunity, and myself included, to learn from each other.
Do you recommend any food habits we need to follow?
I personally don't myself get into talking about food. Just very quickly, yoga, ancient Indian science of the mind, Ayurveda, ancient Indian science of the body. I do talk about Ayurveda in my book, but I'll just talk about cancer prevention specifically. I think we all are pretty much aware, a plant-based diet is best. They also say, and again, I'm just sharing with you all things from physicians, to ideally not drink after 5 o'clock. This is alcoholic beverages, 5 o'clock in the evening, which kind of makes you also think then that's quite early in the day. But if you are having an alcoholic beverage, what I've heard physicians say that I work with is maybe have 1 in the evening, not 3. And to also stay away from caffeine after 2 o'clock. And just to be mindful, I think, listening to our body, making that mind-body connection about foods that we're eating and to see how we're feeling. There are certain foods that I know that I personally stay away from purely because they don't agree with me. So I think that's part of it. So thanks for that, Nami. And Simon here has said, I have to leave now. Bye-bye for now. But thank you so much. It was great to meditate with others. Pip, I'm not sure what that... Was that the beginning of something? I'm not sure. If you have something, please do type it in and we can read it. And was there anybody else? Okay, so I'm not seeing anybody. We will have time again to share. So we'll now get ready for our next practice. And this one is just a little bit of a different opportunity to learn a few different things. And I will be reading an excerpt from my book, Meditation with Intention, with Forward by Dr. Sadia Khan, who is my esteemed colleague and dear friend. She's the director of our breast cancer survivorship program at Hoag Hospital. So wherever you are, again, just come to that comfortable seat. Again, can be lying down, can be on the floor, can be in a chair, whatever works best for you. And again, just get comfortable, taking a moment perhaps to offer some movement to yourself before coming to that place of stillness. Again, eyes open or eyes closed. If you're remaining with the eyes open, I invite you to practice what we call in Sanskrit yoga philosophy pratyahara, which is the withdrawal, sensory withdrawal, which really helps us. You can remain with the eyes open, but you're staring at a focal point on the ground beneath you, which really helps to let go of the distractions. And there are so many. So just coming to that comfortable seat, and I'm going to be reading just a short excerpt from Meditation with Intention on page 16, talking about meditation and your brain. Part of committing to a daily meditation practice enables you to actually affect your brain function, resulting in better emotional and mental health. Even though research into meditation and its effects is still in its infancy, studies have illustrated that meditation helps to suppress the amygdala, which is the jumpy part of our brain that results in us constantly living in that state of fight or flight. It's like the alarm system always going off in your home for no good reason. The brain is the primary shaper of your mind and in turn your reality. It is always working and uses about the same amount of energy whether you are fast asleep or wide awake. It never gets a break. And even though it only makes up 2% of the entire body's mass, it uses 25% of the body's oxygen and glucose and 15% of the body's cardiac output. Meditation is a wonderful way to give your brain and mind a much needed time out and go to that place of peace within. So now I invite you, wherever you are, we'll just be doing 3 breaths together. So exhale all of the air out of the lungs and then begin a deep inhalation through the nose and an audible exhalation through the mouth. So really sigh that air out, lengthening that exhale. So audibly sounding like that. Focusing on activating that parasympathetic nervous system response in our body, moving away from that constant state of fight or flight to rest and digest. So let's do that 2 more times. A deep inhalation through the nose and an audible exhale through the mouth. And let's do that 1 more time together. Deep inhale, audible exhale. And just release, returning to your normal rhythm and pattern of breathing. And I invite you now, if it feels good and comfortable for you to do so, to bring the right hand to the abdomen area, left hand on the heart space. And just take a deep inhale and exhale into this space, connecting the body and mind together as one, moving as we focus on the element of ether from the individual consciousness, what we call in yoga philosophy and Sanskrit the Jivatma, to the Paramatma, which is the Sanskrit for, in yoga philosophy, the universal consciousness, divine consciousness. So really focus on connecting with the ether, the universal consciousness in this moment. I invite you in this moment to offer yourself a sense of love, a sense of compassion, and a sense of non-judgment in this moment. There's an ancient Buddhist proverb that says, "We cannot give that which we do not have." So if I am not feeling love, compassion, and non-judgment in my own heart and mind, it's going to be very difficult for me to authentically offer that to anyone else. So meditation is a practice, and the practice begins with each and every one of us. The more that we are able to give ourselves self-love, self-compassion, and non-judgment, the more that we are then able to offer that to our friends, our family, our colleagues, our communities, our society, and the world around us. So really feel in this moment that you're giving yourself a sense of love and compassion that we so often eagerly desire and that we often wish to get from others. But it's very liberating when we can offer ourselves this love, compassion, and non-judgment from within. So feel that you're breathing that into the heart space in this moment, breathing out resistance, breathing out judgment, breathing out any negative thought patterns that may be arising. Breathing in love, breathing in compassion, breathing in non-judgment, and feeling a sense of giving yourself this love, compassion, and non-judgment, and offering this now to your friends, your family, your colleagues, your community, and envisaging the world at large. And now release. You can release your hands down, perhaps with the palms facing open this time, back to your lap. As we just take a moment of silence to absorb our practice. And as we end today, I want to offer the intention. Breathing in, you can silently repeat to yourself, "May I be well." And breathing out, you can silently repeat to yourself, "May others be well. Breathing in, may I be well. Breathing out, may others be well. And repeat that one more time. Breathing in, may I be well. Breathing out, may others be well. The beauty of a meditation practice is that we are connecting to universal consciousness within, so we can connect to each other as embodiments of universal consciousness externally, and focus on collective care and collective liberation for all. Understanding that our own liberation is intimately connected to everybody else's on this session today, and everybody else in our community, our country, and the world around us. If it feels good, you can gently draw your palms together in Anjali Mudra. A mudra is a hand gesture or seal in Sanskrit, also known as prayer hands. You can gently bow your head. Offer yourself a moment of gratitude that you've given yourself the gift of this time today to come here to join us, to join Freelance Futures for this focus on meditation, giving yourself the gift of coming together in Sangha, community. You can gently open the eyes if they were closed, returning to your physical surroundings. And we'll have another few moments now to journal, just a shorter 3-minute practice. So if you have your paper and pen, I invite you to get that and just journal perhaps how that practice was, maybe the difference between the two as a prompt, how you're feeling now versus how you were feeling at the beginning of our practice. Really anything else, again, this is just for your own reference. Sometimes it's interesting to journal. I talk about this as an intention in meditation with intention also, because what comes to us after meditation can be quite profound. And sometimes it helps to document that, to remind us of how we felt, what came up, what was released, what we're holding on to. So we'll have 3 minutes to do that before we open for our final closing and questions and sharing. Last minute just to wrap up your final thoughts. Okay, now just wrap up your final closing thoughts if you're still journaling. And I would love for our last minutes together to end with questions, sharing. So again, you can raise your hand or you can type in the chat. And I see Christina L shared earlier, quite profoundly affecting. I found I was able to enter the meditation and settled easily. So happy to hear that. Christina, thank you for sharing. So would love to open up now. Questions, comments. Again, you can type in the chat box and I can read them out, or we would love to hear from you.
Hi again.
Hello. Hi, Katya.
Hello. Yeah, it's quite obvious, but I realized something I've been blind to is that, so I had a really pretty terrible pandemic, and I had emergency major surgery, and I was in ICU for a week, unconscious, and I had delirium, and I have never really been that sympathetic to myself. And I felt a wave of, and when you spoke about the, the brain not having a rest, sort of like the brain trauma I had endured, and I'm back and I'm working now, and I haven't really rested. I've recovered, but I haven't rested. So yeah, that was quite an insight. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And that sounds like a lot. I'm sorry to hear that, but I am happy to hear that, this was able to kind of, very often we don't think about offering ourselves compassion, offering ourselves love, and offering ourselves judgment. Where if a friend calls you in need, we're ever ready to lend a sympathetic ear and be empathetic to their situation, but we often don't befriend ourselves. And so I love that. And the more that, you can just take a moment to pause, you've been through so much, and to offer yourself that love and compassion and non-judgment, the more that, we'll feel that sense of peace and of ease within. And meditation really, and again, I talk about this with my own personal journey, has really enabled me to befriend myself. That's the best way of me putting it. I'm not sure if I shared my age. I keep forgetting to do but I'm 43. I'm actually 44 tomorrow. And I think to myself, it's interesting. I am excited as I get older because I am releasing so much of the prison that, I felt I was trapped in for so many years in my own mind. And through these practices and through befriending myself on this journey in life, which obviously hasn't been easy, it's a release and a relief. And so I'm excited. I live in California where everything is about not aging. I find in the UK and certainly in mainland Europe, people respond to aging better. I feel like I'm the prime hub of how not to age in Orange County. And I feel even more strongly that, we have to dismantle ageism, which is so prevalent in our society as well, and welcome the wisdom of our elders and welcome the wisdom as we go through the aging process ourselves. So thank you so much, Katya. Thank you, Nami. Nami's just said, have a lovely birthday. Sorcha, I might be mispronouncing that, has said, thank you, lovely session. We just have probably time for one last question or comment. Does anybody else? We'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to share. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. Becca, Naisha, if I haven't missed anyone, I will hand over to you. And Becca, if you have any questions or comments. Oh, thank you. Pip said, thank you, so helpful. Christina said, so happy to have taken part. Just thank you all. It brings me so much joy to be with you all, be with people from the UK. I miss the UK, I miss London so much. And it just has given me the gift. So thank you all for joining us today for this session, and to all that couldn't make it and you're watching the recording, sending you all much love and thank you. Over to you, Becca.
Thank you so much, Anusha. That was lovely. Lovely way to close the day. I don't think I have any questions. I think that was all beautifully explained, and I feel completely calm and ready for my evening. So thank you. I'm just going to close the session by just reminding everyone of the upcoming sessions for the rest of this week as part of Freelance Futures. So tomorrow morning at 9:30, we have a session on astrology by Madeleine Bottet de la Caz. She's an artist as well as an astrologer. She will be running a session that is open to everyone. It doesn't matter if you are an extremely experienced astrologer or if you've never even heard of the word astrology. She is providing a session that is open to everyone. She'll be just talking through the story of the zodiac and how that relates to everybody. On Thursday evening, we have Karen James's accessible yoga. She will be running a session that is for all bodies and all levels, completely accessible for everybody. That's Thursday evening at 6:30. It can be, she runs yoga sessions that can be done in a chair, so it doesn't have to be sitting on the ground and twisting yourself into all sorts of knots. So do come along to that one. It's yoga, nidra and yin yoga. So a kind of slowing down yoga session. And on Friday morning at 8:30, we have, we're closing out the week with a grounding meditation by Jess Holiday, who's actually in the room today. Hey, Jess. And then finally, we're going to shake it all off with 10 minutes of daily dancing with Emma Jane Park on Friday morning. And that brings us to the end of the Freelance Futures online gathering. So thank you so much, everybody. There's a lot of information in the chat. So you can save it, as someone is saying, you can save it by clicking the dots if you want to, but I think it will be part of the recording as well.
And sorry, Becca, I forgot to share my screen with the resources. So I'll just do that now quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think somebody actually did share this, but this is my book, Meditation with Intention. That's my website, my email. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out. I also included my Instagram where I'm most active. Would love to stay in touch with you all. And you can order this from wherever you like to get your books. And I also wanted to share my meditation program. There's actually a free meditation very similar to what I led you all on my website, which I shared in the chat and is also on this slide. You can take photos and you can also get access to the meditation program that I'm clinically testing at Hoag Hospital via my website. And this is through a Patreon community where we live with a mindful intention each day, and each month that intention changes. There are 3 membership tiers to choose from, and it really is wellness that works. So thank you all so much, and I wish you all the best.